Hello and good evening, everybody. This is Nico Baker. This is the week 7 assignment, Model Critical Thinking, video 4. Um, where today I'll be doing Thinking Aloud for grade levels, middle school PE class, and the skill level will be throwing a football. And just suggestions that I go through while I'm, breaking down how to teach my students to throw a football, what they should be, talking themselves through when I'm not around, so they know what to do. So today I'm going to show you how I think through a skill while I practice it. This is called a think aloud. Pretty much it means I say my thoughts out loud so you can hear how I figure things out. First, we're going to be working on throwing a football. I'll talk through the choices I make and how I decide what works best for me. So identifying the problem. So the problem I want to solve is how can I throw a football more accurately with with better control. Sometimes I have kids, my students, they'll have problems with won't be a tight spiral. Sometimes the balls are wobbly, they go too high or too low. So we want to figure out how we could change that and improve the throw. So a few assumptions that we go through before I start, I have a few things in my head, which are these things are assumptions. Here are a few of mine that go through my head while I'm throwing a football. Number one is my grip. My grip might be wrong because sometimes the ball slips. How's my stance? My stance might be too narrow. Another one, stepping towards my target, thinking stepping towards my target will help me, but that's not always true all the time. So I'm going to pay attention to these as I practice going through my throws. So modeling, pretty much thinking aloud, like what I'll be saying to myself as I'm doing my throws is my first thing is let me check my grip, feel the ball. Is it loose? Is it loose in my hand? Should I make my grip tight or should I loosen my grip? Because you don't want to squeeze the ball super hard. You just want to have a nice, comfortable grip in your hand. So here are a few choices. Option A, should I spread where's my ball at? Here's my ball. Should I spread my fingers out a little bit more, to get a better grip? Not so narrow, should I spread them out? Should I squeeze the ball super tight? And that's option B. Should I move my fingers more back so my fingertips are more touching the laces, So these are choices that you could talk yourself through and just to see what feels comfortable. Does it feel comfortable to put your whole palm on the ball around all the laces? What about when you squeeze it? How does that feel? Now, when you slide it back, I feel like that feels a little bit more natural. So I'm going to try out option C, which was move my hands farther back so my fingertips are touching the laces. So once I get that, then I'll test option C out. This feels much better. The ball resting on my fingertips instead of my palm. This just feels a little bit more natural, and it feels like it gives me more control. Excuse me. Let's see, we're on. So that was the grip. Getting the ball right. So now option 2, or skill 2 is your stance. How is your stance? Now in your stance, you want your feet. Now looking at my stance, your feet. You don't want your feet too close together, because you don't want to be off balance. You want legs shoulder width apart, kind of a staggered stance, so you have your balance. You don't want to get knocked around. You want to have a good base, so you can throw the ball. So let's just say your stance is too narrow. A few options that you could tell yourself. Thinking aloud. Option A: stand with feet shoulder width apart. Option B: if standing shoulder width feels kind of weird, try to stand narrower. For option B, just bring your feet in a little bit closer together. Put the ball, put your opposite foot forward, and your throwing foot, and put your opposite foot forward, and your throwing hand foot back. So, me, I'm a right-hander. So my stance, my left foot will be staggered up front, and my right foot will be kind of back as my base, and vice versa. If you're a lefty, your right foot will be in front, and your left foot will be behind you in a staggered stance. So out of those options, you test them, see which one you like best. For me, I'm gonna try option C, which was put opposite foot forward of your throwing hand. See how that feels in your stance. You should feel very balanced, and you should feel ready to throw. With your right, like I said, I'm right-handed, so left foot forward, right hand back, right leg back, a little staggered stance. I wish I could show you. I wish I could back up and kind of show you my stance, but I'm in a limited space. So after that, after you get your stance ready, now you're ready to throw. You feel comfortable enough. You got your stance ready, stagger, arm back, balanced. Now you're ready to throw. Throwing mechanics. So when you throw, some problems that you might come across when throwing is you got your grip right and you got your stance right, but your throwing mechanic could be all off. So sometimes when you throw, some things I see is sometimes students release the ball too early or too late. So now you got to think about what the body needs to make your ball go to your target. What are some things you should be talking to yourself to let you know, I got to get this ball to my target. So here are a few options. Thinking aloud to myself. So you're in your stance, you're ready to throw. So here's the option. So should we only be throwing with our arm? So just arm movement. How is that going to be? Just throwing with your arm. Option 2, use your hips to help rotate. So now you're using your hips to throw the ball. So not just your arm. Now you're throwing a little hip action and throwing your ball. Option C, should you point your hand at the target and then follow through like this. So arm point and throw. Now it could vary. Middle school, that skill should kind of be not mastered, but you shouldn't have to point at your target and then throw. Some students might, and that's okay. We just work on that. But that's more elementary. I teach my kids to point at their target and then follow through. In middle school, I would want them to kind of be a little bit more athletic and already kind of know that skill. So instead of just pointing, you get your arm back to the side. When you throw, you rotate your hips and follow through. Which brings me to option C. I already said option C. Point your hand at the target during and follow through. Now, one thing about option A, which was only throw with your arm, I don't think option A is a good one because you won't have enough power, right? Because your power comes from your base. So just using your arm, you're not going to have as much power. So the ball might not go as far as you would like it to. Option B and C sound good to me. Using my hips to help me rotate and pointing at my target and following through, right? Look at your target, point, follow through while rotating the hips. Trying both of those, follow through, you should have a real nice spiral ball that goes a lot straighter that'll get to your target, So now checking the accuracy, after you do all those options and kind of go through them and complete them, Now you might see your ball going straight, you know. So now it's going straight, but the accuracy is still off. You still might be throwing the ball too high, or too low, or to the left of your target, to the right of your target. So what are some things that you could do to improve on your accuracy? So throwing straighter. So here are a few options you could say to yourself. Again, thinking out loud. Option A. Okay, I'm releasing the ball too early. Option B, I'm leaning back too much. You know. Option C, I'm stepping too hard. You know, stepping too hard, ball might go low. Leaning back too much might make the ball go high, and you're overthrowing your target. So when you think about that, you know, try option A, holding the ball just a tad bit longer if you're throwing the ball too early. You know, so just holding on to that ball just a tad bit longer. So you might have to do a little count. 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, then throw. Just to help slow your progress down so you're not releasing the ball too early. So those are ways, you know, thinking aloud that, you know, will help you throw that tighter spiral to your partner so you guys could have fun playing catch. Because believe me, it is not fun playing catch with somebody and they keep overthrowing you or underthrowing you, and you got to always go chase the ball. That is not fun. You want to be able to throw with your peer across from each other, and you guys be able to catch the ball. That's a lot more fun. In closing, that's how I think through my physical still. I try different options. You know, pay attention to what changed, and I just keep adjusting. That's critical thinking, breaking down things, and problem solving step by step, you know. So break things down step by step and go at your own speed, pretty much. So now you guys will get a chance to, you know, try that and do that, and let me know how it goes. Thank you for listening, and good luck. Bye-bye.